right, day 10. Here we are, day 10 of the 31-day individuation process for October. The reason why this day is so special is because 10 symbolically has everything to do foundationally with what it is that we're doing here, individuation. The 1 and the separation between the 1 and the 0, or the I and the separation between the I and the O. I being I, like the self, and O being other, the other people, right? This is all about creating. Now, this is not a matter of, well, I thought you said that there's no separation between any of us. Energetically, yeah, there's no separation between any of us, but in terms of the self, in terms of individuality, in terms of a single person, right? One person, it's important, especially in terms of, boundaries and like one's own life and everything. This has so much more to do with the way that a person is conditioned earlier on in life and brought up, specifically in a system of things like enmeshment, right, where there are either permeable or absolutely zero boundaries altogether. And it's very interesting to kind of like, explore this whole area because there's a lot here. There's a lot here. A lot of people grew up in family systems of enmeshment where there was, exceedingly dysfunctional dynamics and stuff, right? So really the question to ask today is, I just forgot it for a second. The question to ask for today is, what do no, who do I want to be and who do I want to be? I can't believe I forgot this for a second. It's basically who. Oh, there we go. Who and what do I actually want to be and do? That's the first question. Second question, second part of the question is, and what is holding me back, right? So the reason why this is so important to ask is because foundationally this is the self, right? And it's been very interesting because for me recently, I've been experiencing something that I didn't really think that I would. I didn't take into consideration. And what that is watching kind of like an ego or an id form within somebody, and like recognizing boundarylessness or permeable boundaries. And it's very interesting because something that I've learned is that very early on in life, the ego and the id are formed, right? The sense of self. The second that someone, like a parent figure, right, tries to do something or say something, and you're just like, yeah, right? That no right there is the establishing of boundaries, right, of the self. And if that is violated, which is very important for that not to be violated or not to be like taken back or like rejected or declined, if that's violated, a person is going to be a very certain way. Now, if that's violated over and over and over again, if that's violated / rejected over and over and over again, the person's going to have a very specific kind of like self-evolution moving forward. And that self-evolution is going to very much negate the self, which is problematic, obviously, which is why we're here doing this process of individuation. You need to have a self, right? You can't just be like, oh yeah, I agree with you. 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 Usually from a place of like not liking yourself, right? Because you were taught growing up a belief that there was something inherently wrong with you, and because of that, you had to say things and do things to try to get people to like you. But of course, it doesn't work that way. So yeah, like watching this process, like I'm watching from afar, and I'm like, holy fucking shit, this is crazy. And like this is exactly things that I've heard before. And like things that like I've learned about and everything, and I'm like, wow, what the fuck? And it's so interesting to watch it unfold because like it's making me realize like okay, and you wonder why a child doesn't listen to, or you wonder why someone doesn't listen to someone else. There's something very interesting that I've heard um, multiple parents say actually to their children, and that is, I don't care. Parents, if you're listening, you cannot say that to your children without serious consequences. If if you're gonna have the audacity to say to your children that you don't care, just get ready for the same thing in return. It's like the same thing. By the way, like if you find that your child doesn't listen to you, there's a good chance because you don't listen to your child. Your child's wants and needs matter, and your idea of what their wants and needs should be are fucking irrelevant. You can guide them, right? You can be like, no, you don't want to put your hand on the fucking stovetop over that fire because you're gonna get burned, and that'll fucking hurt. And they'll learn that, and they won't ever do it again. But other than that, like, no, they get to choose this, that, and the other, and you just get to guide them. So whenever you find that they're not listening to you, ask yourself whether or not you're listening to them, right? Like, it could be simple things, it could be complex things. Look at whether or not you're listening to them. The reason why I'm bringing up, childhood in this is because, again, I've said this before, vulnerability. Children are literally like sponges, right? They're soaking up everything. And the reason why, I mean, I don't know the exact reason why it's absolutely essential to teach children a specific language or multiple languages in childhood. I don't know the specific reason, but what I do know is that they learn it fucking fast. And they soak it up. They soak it up. So children are soaking up everything that they're learning, and it's just very interesting. Now, let's dive a little bit into the question here before I end this video. So, oh yeah, I haven't said it yet. By the way, this is so cool to say. Happy Individuation Day. That's exactly what I intended this for. So, of course, like I was saying before, the month of October is the month of individuation, and the 10th day of every month, including the month of October, is Individuation Day. That's what I'm naming it, or declaring it. But yeah, so the reason why this question, I would argue, is probably going to be one of the most important questions out of this entire process is because it goes directly to the self. Who and what do who and what do I actually want to be and do? Yeah, there we go. It was very hard trying to like structure this sentence for some reason. I don't know why. Who and what do I actually want to be and do, and what is holding me back from it? Now, let me just say this real quick. I had a very beneficial conversation with a very good friend of mine yesterday, and he and I went into, well, I started talking about this whole thing of like adults want to retire, and I wasn't actually talking specifically about like any specific occupations or jobs. I was talking about the boredom that is adulthood for many people. They're bored, and I would argue that they're bored because they're sitting with a lot of pain from unprocessed, misunderstood. I don't know. Anyway, they don't see their pain and where it came from. All they see is pain. Well, yeah, okay. Maybe they see their pain, but they don't see where it came from. And if you carry around pain and you don't know what it is or where it came from, all that you know that it's pain, and you have that, you're not having a whole lot to work with, so it's very challenging. But basically, I was saying, like, earlier on in life, what we do is we present ourselves this way, right? We present ourselves like, and then the adults are like, no. And then we're like, and then they're like, here, try this mask on, right? And then we're just like, and then it goes from there, right? And this is what I mean. Everyone has childhood trauma. That's just the way that it is. Whether big or small, that's just the way that it is. So you have had a lot of things inlaid upon you, right? You've had these ideas and opinions from other people that have never had anything to do with you, but you've carried around your entire life, whether, 2 decades, 3, 4, 5 decades, 6 decades, 7 decades, however long it's been, you've had the shit. And if you haven't gone through therapy yet, go through fucking therapy. Whether you're young or old, it's fucking time. But I thought it was very interesting. The reason why I brought up this masking thing is because that's what happens. We just take on all the ideas and opinions that people give us from an early age because, again, we're looking for, love, safety, and belonging and all that stuff. And we're looking for external validation for a sense of guidance. And then, sometimes, unfortunately, well, I would argue many times, we're taught that we are not liked. Well, a belief, that is. And then we translate that into the entire world because our gods told us that, right? Well, they didn't really tell us that. We just didn't know what the fuck was going on. We didn't know the difference, so we just went with that. But the reason why I want people to ask, who and what do I actually want to be and do, is because I would argue that a lot of people out there are being people, personalities, and doing things that they do not want to do because they were told and taught that that's what they had to do. You don't have to do that. Don't do it. Piss off your parents. They'll come around. Do what you want to do because it's important for you. If you're not doing what you want to do, what the fuck's the point? That's it. 10-10. Have a great day.